Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
Newly released video shows a Moorhead police officer grabbing a woman by the neck and hitting her in the face when she spits on him. After reviewing that video, the Cass County State's Attorney dropped the aggravated assault charge against the Moorhead police officer. But he's not in the clear yet, as the Moorhead Police Department has launched its own investigation into the incident. Valley News Team's Joshua Pagero joins us in the studio with more on this video. Joshua?
Andrea, the surveillance video was taken inside Sanford Hospital in Fargo, and the only reason we have it is because Cass County prosecutors dismissed charges against that Moorhead police officer, Matthew Lambert. He's circled here in red. Lambert is standing next to hospital security as Jennifer Thomas is handcuffed. She was arrested earlier that day after causing a disturbance at the Moorhead Buffalo Wild Wings. Lambert reportedly brought Thomas to Sanford Hospital for clearance purposes. You can see here cussing at officers, and at one point she gets up from the hospital bed, as she does right here. That's when Lambert tries to get her to sit back down. He puts his hands around Thomas's neck and forces her to the bed. She spits on him, and then he strikes her with his elbow. Court documents say Lambert originally told Fargo police he was investigating the incident because he believed that she hit herself on the bed. Medical personnel treated Thomas for a fractured nose and a contusion to her right eye. This video evidence wasn't enough to convict Lambert of aggravated assault, according to court documents. Although prosecutors say they don't necessarily believe Thomas acted reasonably, they cannot prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Andrea?
All right, Joshua, thank you. The Moorhead Police Department said they won't be commenting on the video, but do say Lambert is on paid administrative leave while the department does its own internal investigation into the matter. Attorneys for the former Minneapolis police officer convicted of fatally shooting Justine Damond have some suggestions on how he should be sentenced. They filed a motion arguing that there's no benefit to the community in giving Mohamed Noor a long prison sentence. Instead of 10 to 15 years behind bars, the attorneys want probation, saying Noor showed remorse and cooperated with prosecutors. 75 years ago today, more than 150,000 soldiers landed on beaches along a 50-mile stretch of a heavily fortified coast of France's Normandy region. The invasion was one of the largest amphibious military assaults in history. The Normandy landings would be called the beginning of the end of war in Europe. Tonight, Valley News Team's Mike Morgan introduces you to a man who was part of the historic mission and other World War II veterans who were part of a generation that made a significant difference.
Just hours before June 6, 1944, the 101st Airborne, nicknamed the Screaming Eagles, were getting a jump on the Normandy assault. A plane carrying 30 soldiers, including a young Earl Bombardier from Crookston, Minnesota, was hit by German anti-aircraft guns, prompting an emergency exit.
That was the primary thing, was to get back with our troops again. And that didn't work out very well because we were 20 miles from where we should have been. And every time we turned around, we ran right into Germans.
For the next several days, Earl and his fellow unit members would slug it out with the Germans. Low on food and ammunition, they wound up cornered. Of the original 30, he was one of just 12 survivors. They were placed on a prisoner of war train bound for Germany. With U.S. planes looking for anything that moved, it was a nightmarish trip into enemy territory.
More than once we've been strafed. And the thing I didn't like was being in the boxcar locked in there. And you can see the bullets coming through the roof.
For the next 11 months, the POWs would have to endure torturous conditions.
Scary. They put us through a lot of stuff that I don't think that Geneva Convention would have allowed a lot of that stuff, but we got away with it anyway. And
in May of 1945, Earl would be liberated. And to this day, he gives credit to God for getting him through it.
How do you feel about being a part of such an incredible, historic event like D-Day?
I'm darn proud of it.
I think it's the old American spirit.
Les Goodman of Emily, Minnesota, was one of 4 brothers who served in World War II. Each in a different branch. They all made it home.
So I count my blessings. I was in over half a dozen major invasions, and I'm sitting here talking to you.
Commonly referred to as the greatest generation, not only were the men and women who fought in World War II, but those who supported the war effort on the home front. They did so, as longtime NBC News anchor Tom Brokaw described, not for fame or recognition. Rather, it was the right thing to do.
If there's anything like that since then?
No.
And for that, does that make you feel proud?
Oh yes, very proud. I figured you do your part, you do yours, next. Most of us felt that way, and when you do that, there's a lot you can get done, I'll tell you.
It means that you did your share, probably a little bit more, through some trying times.
Earl, Les, and Art are among 16 World War II veterans who live at the Vets Home in Fergus Falls. Talking to them, you get a real sense that their generation was very special. And when I asked if they had advice for future generations,
To protect your country and your freedom, and all your freedoms that you do have.
Faith. Have faith. It sounds simple, but you have to work at it too.
in Fergus Falls, Mike Morkin, Valley News Live.
While he was a prisoner of war, Earl's weight dropped from 174 to 115 pounds. Earl recently celebrated his 97th birthday. One of Fargo School's top plans to relieve future overcrowding within the district could send some students miles away from their neighborhood schools. Now some parents are exploring a different type of boundary change. Instead of shifting boundary lines within Fargo, parents are now starting to ask about shifting the boundary lines between Fargo and West Fargo public schools.
The closest middle and high school to my home is Liberty and Cheyenne in West Fargo, because we're fairly close to 40th Avenue.
When open enrollment doesn't exist and there is no tuition agreement in place for two school districts, then they generally go with the annexation process. Most of the reasons are because of convenience, because of different services or programs.
The idea is catching the attention of state lawmakers as well. When it comes to boundary change concerns, Representative Thomas Beadle says he plans to meet with several school board members next week. It was supposed to give flexibility to districts in structuring a school day when North Dakota lawmakers changed the amount of time students have to go to school from a required number of days to hours. But instead, it's giving them headaches. Some districts count things like recess and going from class to class as part of the school day, but other districts don't.
We will put together a working group of small schools and large schools, high school principals, middle school principals, elementary school principals, superintendents, and we'll work through this next year to come up with a common definition and a common guidance.
Middle and high school students are required to attend for 1,050 hours. Hundreds of athletes from across the state of North Dakota kicked off the first of 3 days of games and competing for the Special Olympics of North Dakota Summer Games. Children and adults with intellectual disabilities will be competing in a handful of events, from flag football and powerlifting to swimming and volleyball. On top of that, award ceremonies and a victory dance. For Jackie Cry, this isn't her first rodeo. She's been competing in these summer games for over 20 years.
Volleyball, bocce ball, a little bit of soccer, and I do bowling. What I'm really proud of being Special Olympics is all the whole friends and the connections of people I made.
All the events are free and open to the public. Someone who purchased a Powerball ticket at Casey's General Store at 19th Avenue and University Drive North in Fargo is the winner of $150,000. The ticket matched 4 white balls and the Powerball. The Power Play multiplier was 3, raising the amount to $150,000. The winner has 6 months to claim the prize. Saturday's Powerball jackpot is estimated at $53 million.
Valley News Live 10 at 10 continues with No Wait Weather.
Oh, just a gorgeous night here in the FM area. Conditions very quiet, a few clouds off in the distance, and it was another warm one today with temperatures soaring well into the 80s and even some 90s out there, 73 degrees. Currently with an east wind at 7 miles per hour. Very dry is the air over us right now. 69 your temperature in Devil's Lake. To the east in Grand Forks, it's 76 degrees with the Valley City area in the low 70s. A cooler 62-degree temperature this hour in Bemidji with 73 in Detroit Lakes. Crystal clear skies and quiet conditions for our entire area. That not the case in eastern Montana and parts of northwest North Dakota heading into the overnight hours. Here's what we expect to change this evening. Not much. Quiet. Can't rule out a spotty sprinkle along the international border. And we will begin our Friday morning with a south wind at only 10 miles per hour. The morning through noon hours will be the most pleasant across Lakes Country in the Red River Valley, while the wind increases in the mid-morning hours out to the west. What was 20-mile-per-hour winds will begin gusting over 40 miles per hour out west by the midday hour, and all of us heating right up with those south winds. Heading into the afternoon, wind gusts 35 to 45 miles per hour anywhere you see these yellow colors here, and we'll see temperatures soaring into the 90s, and it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility to see a few mid-90s out there for a sizzling Friday afternoon, but it will be gusty and dusty across the area. Then heading into the evening, showers and thunderstorms in the western and central Dakotas are likely to be severe, and a few of these may track as we go into the overnight hours into northeast North Dakota. We'll keep you updated on that throughout the day tomorrow, but suffice it to say, the first half of the day most pleasant. We spend several hours at or near 90 degrees with gusty winds 25 to 40 miles per hour. And then as we head into the evening, we'll have a chance of some showers and thunder showers into the overnight even for the Devil's Lake Basin. 89 tomorrow in Devil's Lake, 88 Valley City, and 89 in Jamestown. 90 for Wahpeton, Breckenridge. Another day in the low 90s in Grand Forks and Thief River Falls. Roseau joining the party at 90 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Lakes Country, a little choppy on the waters. Friday night into Saturday morning, we do have a chance of some passing showers, mainly in our northern counties. And then on Saturday, we start the day out a little on the muggy side and breezy. As we go through the midday, a cold front will begin approaching from the west, and we'll have a very good chance of more widespread showers and storms heading into the evening and overnight hours. A few of these may have some hail, particularly as they get to the east into Minnesota. We'll keep you updated there. The waters in our area not going to look this glassy over the next couple of days with all the wind. 10 Mile Lake looking beautiful at sunset. Here's your planning forecast after the gusty, dusty Friday with spotty storms in the Devil's Lake Basin and 90s. I expect temperatures, well, they'll be a little cooler as we head into the weekend and beyond. We're talking some 60s for highs as we go through next week and a few 70s here and there with more rain in the midweek time frame. It's a traffic jam. I got stuck in traffic on the way from the weather wall to the desk.
Unexpected plasma in your way.
It's a TV screen. I almost ran right into it.
I know. Later on Valley News Live at 10. If you're getting ready to travel this summer, we have tips on how you can save money.